when we get on this law of attraction journey, and we understand that we are the creators of our experience, oftentimes we get a little erratic and we get a little fearful and frustrated because our thoughts are all over the place. And so instead of trying to control the thoughts, control the emotions, a huge and very impactful practice that you'll gain in everyday living is just to accept the emotions as they are. Hello, you beautiful divine beings. Welcome back. Thanks for watching. We're going to have a fun discussion today. Today we are going to discuss how to stop negative thoughts and how that applies and why it's important for the law of attraction. Lately, I've been coming across a lot of individuals, friends, family, clients, acquaintances that are having a difficult time understanding negative thinking and the fear of negative thinking in regards to the law of attraction, and the fear that they are somehow creating negative circumstances, situations as a result of thinking negatively. So I just want to give some perspective to you guys on that to help you put your minds at ease, and then also give you a few techniques that are very effective that I use frequently at allowing us to think positively, to think in the direction of our desires, of our dreams, and to just be at peace. So first and foremost, the most important thing to remember, and this is something that has to be a habitual thought that then needs to become a belief, and that is the truth, the fact that there is only a stream of well-being, and that we are either allowing that well-being to flow into our lives or not. And so instead of thinking about how you are creating negative experiences by thinking negatively, you can think more in the fact that by thinking negatively, you're just not allowing the well-being. Perfect example, if you look in nature, almost every tree you see, every bush, every plant, even those darn weeds, especially right now in Reno, Nevada, our dry climate, those weeds are prevalent, right? And they're going to grow. And it's pretty difficult to get rid of a tree, a plant, your whatever it is, your bushes, unless they are not getting even just a smidge of light, or they're not getting any water. There's a stream of well-being that flows through them and continues to make them grow anew every spring. And then it goes through its stage where the leaves fall off and it seems to hibernate. Maybe it looks like it's going to die, but it's just part of the stage. But nonetheless, there's always that stream of well-being. There's a stream of life force that moves the trees into new life, right? It's never halted because the trees don't resist it. The trees allow the flow of well-being to move through their form in order to create new leaves, new fruit, all that other good stuff. Now we can also think about this as if we think a certain way over a prolonged period of time, negatively, positively, then yes, situations that match that frequency, just like when we turn, as Abraham Hicks would say, when we tune our radio to 92.1, we're going to get 92.1. We're not getting 92.1 while anticipating getting 105.5. The frequencies don't align. And so it also is important for us to become very self-aware and honest with ourselves of where we are in our emotional state. Because our emotion is that feeling aspect of the feeling, the thought and the emotion married are the feeling. The feeling is what is the creative force, right? Those thought and emotion married. And so if we get too caught in a particular emotion, feeling place, we are going to attract situations, people, circumstances that resonate with that similar frequency range. It's hard for us to accept that bad things are happening to us because of our disallowance of the good, but that would be a case where if we're in a state, and no, not saying this is anyone's fault, it oftentimes happens by default, which means that we are just unconscious of what we're creating. We don't realize the power that we have behind our thought and our emotion married, creating that experience in those situations for us. And that leads us into our second point, which is listening to our emotions and understanding that our emotions are our indicator of us allowing the stream of well-being, allowing the good to flow into our lives, or resisting it. And that's very simple, right? Most of us know when we feel good or when we feel bad. When we feel bad, it means that the current thoughts that we are thinking are not in alignment with what our higher selves, with what our soul, with what the universe is wanting for us, and that's already become. And that's important. So our thoughts, they can just move quickly from one to the other, one to the other, one to the other. But the emotion is the factor that can guide us even more swiftly, because it's telling us right now, are you feeling good? Then you are moving in alignment with what you have asked for. If you are feeling bad, then you are disallowing, right? You are resisting what you've asked for. So it's very simple. However I feel, that's what I'm allowing. So you have to cultivate that ability to listen and be authentic and be truthful with yourself as to what you are feeling internally. And third, and probably the most important of all of this, is to allow the emotions to be as they are in any moment. When we get on this law of attraction journey, and we understand that we are the creators of our experience, oftentimes we get a little erratic and we get a little fearful and frustrated because our thoughts are all over the place. And so instead of trying to control the thoughts, control the emotions, a huge and very impactful practice that you'll gain in everyday living is just to accept the emotions as they are. If you feel bad, that's okay, because you now have the awareness that if I feel bad, it just means that my thoughts are not in alignment with what I'm wanting. So I'm probably not moving very fast to where I want to be. That's okay. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to berate yourself. You don't have to panic, because emotion is just an indicator of where we are. And so by accepting, being authentic with where our emotions are, we free ourselves from the attachment of having to be one way or the other, or to think a certain way or the other, or to have something or not. We free ourselves from that attachment. Accept the emotions as they are. Okay, right now I feel pretty shitty. Accept it as it is, let it be, and it will fade. This too shall pass. But not allowing the emotions to sway us and to make us frustrated, but having the constant, repetitive, conscious thought that this emotion is just directing me to tell me if I'm moving in the direction of my dreams or if I'm resisting it. That's all. So now that leads me into our first of two techniques, and the first one, and it's the most important of all, and this every spiritual teacher, every self-help teacher, anyone has always told us to do this from the beginning of this journey, is to meditate. There are so many benefits behind meditation, but for our purposes now, for the law of attraction, it allows us, number one, to release resistance, to stop the thinking, or to focus on one particular thought, to let life kind of move, right? And let the well-being, the stream of well-being flow with us. And then it allows us to become aware of our thoughts. And so how does that help us, right? You're already hyper-focused on your thoughts. Well, meditation, instead of you allowing your mind to run wild and to just let the thoughts pass, just let them come and throw you, like you being on a storm, on a wavy ocean. Instead, you step back. I like to think of it this way: I sink deeper into the ocean as I watch the waves pass above me, or I become the sky as I watch the clouds that are the thoughts pass through the sky. So instead of becoming attached to these thoughts and letting them throw me into all these different emotional states because my emotions are going to respond to those thoughts, I then can become aware of the thoughts. And so I can respond to the thoughts and accept them as I wish them to be, or I can reject them. And it doesn't, that allows me to not be swayed emotionally so that I can still allow that well-being to flow. Recognizing that we are the sky and the clouds just pass. Clouds will always come and go. They'll get white, they'll get dark. They are. But I am untouchable. I am infinite. I am the sky. Now, Buddha also stressed the importance of the relationship between the breath and the mind. So when we meditate, and we'll do this together, we take a nice big inhale, we hold, and then we exhale. And we do that 3 times. The breath and the mind have an intimate relationship. When the breath becomes more even and more stilled, the mind becomes more even and more stilled. And so, using the breathing itself, the pranayamas, we can do pranayama breathing, or we can just breathe naturally, easily, allowing the breath to be moving in and out. We automatically still the mind, which slows the thoughts, which clears the sky, and then I can exist in this bliss. And the second technique I want to give you guys is this practice of actually consciously trying to redirect your thoughts, not just throughout the day in times of need or in the bad times, the negative thinking processes, because often those times are a little more difficult, but even in the good times. So when you feel that you are feeling good, when you're enjoying the music, just redirecting the mind even more and see if you can consciously think a thought to push the mind a little bit more. So if you're feeling happy and you say, oh, this is a nice song, you could then make it a practice to go, I am grateful for this song, or I appreciate my parents, or I appreciate my lover, or I appreciate my car, or I'm grateful for this house, or I'm happy that I can walk today. So you're consciously choosing thoughts. What that's going to do is it's going to strengthen the mental muscle. And you're going to begin to realize that you have the ability to direct the thought. And when you use this in tandem with the meditation, you realize that you are outside of the mind. The mind exists as it is, and it's going to continue to move and sway and go up and down and side to side and do its craziness. But if you can step back and begin to consciously direct thought, that's when you become the true creator of your life. That's when you become the deliberate creator of your life. And you then can become the master allower, because instead of trying to create, you know that you've created through your thought and your emotion married together. Bam, you've made this explosion out. Oh, I want to experience this. And after you do that, you feel it moving through you. You begin to see all the things showing you how it's going to show up. You begin to see the new car along the street. You begin to see more people, meet more people with money. You begin to see happy relationships all over the place. The universe showing you that this too is yours, and it is moving gently into your experience as you continue to move with this. So that conscious practicing of, can I redirect my thoughts? Can I reframe my thinking? If something bad is happening, trying to take a step back. Maybe if you're not too heightened in the thought, and go, you know what? This isn't as bad as me being terminally ill, or this isn't as bad as me having somebody beat me. My husband not paying attention to me, my wife not paying attention to me, isn't as bad as somebody beating me. You can do these things. You go, oh man, maybe I do have a bit more to be grateful about. And so yeah, sorry to leave it on that note. No, I'm kidding. But that's it. So those hopefully those help you with understanding that all is well, and that there's only a stream of well-being. The trees grow. The plants will always produce fruit. as long as there's water and air, sunlight, and everything will work out for you. Everything always works out. It's just dependent on how aligned you are with the universe as a whole, with your inner being, with what you've been asking for, what you've been desiring. It's an easier practice than we make it, and there's nothing to get stressed out about, because there's far more going right, and there's far more in this universe wanting to go right than there is to go wrong. There's no darkness switch. There's only a light switch. Your body does things every single day, miracles every single day, hundreds of millions of miracles. If you talk about all the nerve signals and the cells multiplying and the fighting viruses and fighting bacteria, and your heart beating and your lungs extracting oxygen, and there's so much going right in our bodies and in our lives. So a few things, one thing that we're really focused on, not having the lover, not having the money, not having the house, not having the whatever, not having the health, all these things are temporary, and they will change, because life is moving us in the direction of goodness, in the direction of well-being. So I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. If you made it this far, congratulations. You guys are studs if you always make it this far. I love you very much. I appreciate you watching. Like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you very soon. I love you. Have a wonderful day.